Hey, this is David Goldenberg from 11 Ads for Brands, and I've got a case study to share on how we lowered our Amazon PPC ACOS from 51.76% to 30.66% in just 3 months. I've got 10 tactics to share explaining exactly how we did it over the next 10 or 15 minutes. And if you stay tuned to the end, I've got 2 resources to share with you. One is a tool that helps you find gems hidden in your ad data, things that people are not thinking about and so they're not looking for it in the ad data. It's a free tool that you can use immediately today to improve your ACOS. And I've also got a spreadsheet that helps you calculate exactly the right bids, even if you suck at math. So stay tuned to the end to find out how you can get access, okay? And additionally, like it and comment so that you can be one of those who gets first access. I should mention that if you're looking to lower your Amazon PPC ACOS and you need some help with that, we are giving away a special service where we reduce your ACOS by eliminating the wasted spend in your account. Typically it's about 10 to 20% of your spend. And so there's one lucky winner. There's a drawing going on. Okay, check out the link in the description below and maybe you'll get that done for you free. Okay, so I wish you best of luck. If you need some help with getting your ACOS down, it's open to sellers in home goods who are spending over 30K per month on their PPC. So tactic number 1 is eliminate obvious wasted ad spend in bulk. Okay, within Amazon's campaign manager, you have an option to click and go to bulk operations. What that does is it allows you to download a spreadsheet from Amazon with all your campaigns, all your keywords, all your targets. So what you want to do is go there, click 60 days for the time period of data that you want to get, and then create spreadsheet. Takes a few minutes, wait for that, and then download the sheet. What we're going to do is we're going to look for your targets which are performing the worst. So we're going to look for those that have 40 or more clicks and 0 orders. In order to do that, you need to do a little bit of prep work on the spreadsheet. It's really easy. I'm just going to explain what you need to do. You select the columns where you have your performance data, so impressions, clicks, sales, orders, all of that, okay? And you can use Control-Shift-Enter and the arrow keys to go down, or Control-Shift and the arrow keys to select it all a little bit faster. And you just scroll to the top, you'll see a little triangle with an exclamation mark. And what you do is you click that and you choose convert to number. By default, when you get the spreadsheet from Amazon, the data is formatted as text. But we need the filters to apply to numbers, okay? Because we want to pick 40 or greater. And in order for that filter to work, the text has to be formatted as a number. So you select it all, you click convert to number, it takes a few seconds, and Excel converts that over. Once you do that, you add filters. There's a little filter icon in the upper right in Excel. Okay, you do that, and then you choose clicks over 40 and orders equal to 0. You might see also at this point that you've got some campaigns, maybe some ad groups, other things like that, okay, in the sheet. And you need to just focus on the particular keywords or ASINs, other targets, right? So what you want to do is go over to the record type column and choose only keywords or ASINs or categories, right? Individual targets, basically, where the performance has been so bad that there's no orders at all and a lot of traffic. Once you filter down to those 3 criteria, right? So 40 clicks, 0 orders, and it's granular targeting, right? Either keywords, ASINs, or categories. Then you just need to go to the status or state column. They changed the name over, and you change that from paused to enabled. Sorry, the other way around. You change it from enabled to paused, okay? Save the spreadsheet, upload it back to Amazon, and then boom, in about 5 minutes of work, you've just gotten rid of all the worst performing keywords in your account. Okay, I'll wait for you. You go do that, come back, and we'll get to tactic number 2. Okay, tactic number 2 is to negate bad segments. I didn't say bad keywords, bad segments. What's a segment? A segment is one word that has multiple search terms that share that same common word. Okay, so for example, suppose I'm selling living room chairs and they're not wooden. So the word wooden, whenever it appears in a search term, makes the search term just not convert, right? Because people who are looking for wooden chairs are out of my market. They're not relevant to what I'm selling. And if my search terms don't have a lot of volume, each of them, right? So I might get 2 clicks on this search term, 3 clicks on that one, 5 clicks on another. How am I supposed to make a decision based on 2 clicks and 3 clicks and 5? That's not enough data, right? That's just gambling. But if I combine, 10, 20 search terms together, right? So suddenly I can see the pattern. And I can see that whenever wooden appears in the search term, it doesn't work. So by aggregating that data, I'm able to see something similar to what we just did with the worst performing keywords in bulk, except that here, because it might be scattered across multiple different search terms, across multiple keywords, multiple campaigns, right? I would have a very hard time finding out that wooden is not working and it's chewing up my spend little by little in all these different places. So there's 2 different kinds of negative keywords. There's negative exact match, where you just negate exactly one particular search term. And there's also negative phrase match, where a word or a sequence of words, whenever that appears in your search term, that blocks the search term from generating an impression and potentially click and spend for your ads. Okay, so we're going to take a negative phrase match and apply that segment as a negative phrase across all our campaigns where this search term is where this word or this segment, right, is performing badly. And that's going to do 2 things. First of all, it's going to block all the search terms we already wasted time and money on. And it's also going to provide us protection from wasting money in the future, even on search terms that we never saw before, so long as they include wooden, right, or any other bad segment. Now, that's great. How do you find these segments? I used to do this manually, poring over data, trying to figure out, okay, let me filter for all the search terms that include wooden, and filter for all the search terms that include whatever else the term might be, right? It's very time consuming. If you hit the like button and comment that you want access, I've got a free tool that does this for you. It's available. You just need to tell me that you like this video and that you are interested in access. Once we get to 50, then I can share access in the description below. Okay, tactic number 3. Raise bids on good keywords where you can increase your impression share, right? Your total share of the pie. How can you find that out? There's a report called the Impression Share Report. It's available for sponsored products and for sponsored brands. You download that, and what you're doing is you're looking for search terms where you have a lot of volume, right? Where there's a lot of potential, basically. But also your impression share is below 80% and your ACOS is below your target. So let's give a concrete example. Suppose that your ACOS target is 25%. Okay, I wouldn't do this if it's, an ACOS of 24%, 23%, but if a particular search term is getting an ACOS, let's say 5% below your target, it's 20%, right? So you've got a good margin to play with. And you're not getting, the absolute maximum share possible. You're at 50%. You're at 30% of the impression share available, right? So if you increase your bid, you can get more impressions, more clicks, more traffic from a keyword that's already performing well for you, right? Because you've got a good ACOS. Now, obviously, the same rule as before applies. You want to do this where you can see an obvious pattern. I recommend doing this where you've got 40 or more clicks. On another occasion, I can explain why. You might check over here. I can have a video potentially explaining how much traffic you need to make a decision, whether it's a decision to wait, whether it's a decision to increase a bit, decrease a bit, all that. But if you're doing well on a keyword, you may already have the total available impression share. There's many cases where we have 100% of the available impressions, right? On more competitive keywords, you'll tend to find that it's not 100%, but still, you might get 50, 60%. And increasing the bid may not be possible, right? Because maybe you're already at your target ACOS. When you have these two conditions, your ACOS is below the target, and also you've got impression share that is low, right? You can raise your bid, even if you won't get necessarily all the way to the target. You can still basically lower the average ACOS on your account by getting more sales at a good ACOS, right? That's the whole idea here. This is a great keyword. If you can raise your bid, you might still get sales at or below your target ACOS, and that'll lower the average on your whole account and essentially make the whole thing more profitable. For sponsored brand headlines, include your keyword in the headline. A lot of times people don't know what to write in the headline, and I'll probably have a link over here explaining how we write headlines, what's the research that we do to write the best possible headline. But a very basic and useful tip that many people are still overlooking is to include the targeted keyword in your headline, okay? And this is linked to the idea also of using segments to personalize your campaigns. If you write a headline and you want to include a keyword, you're not going to be able to do that if you have 200 different keywords, right? But if you have a segment where you're targeting all the search terms that include, let's say, padded, right? If you're selling chairs, right, to take the earlier example. So you're targeting living room chairs, and one of the variations is cushioned living room chairs or padded living room chairs, right? So you can write a headline that talks about it being more comfortable, but that's not going to apply to all the different keywords that you might have, right? If it's prestigious, if it's this or that. Prestigious may not mean padded, it may not be about comfort, it may be about this look, it may be about the style, something else. So you want to match up also those keywords, and again, that's another great use for segments, right? To group the keywords together in a logical, thematic way, and then you can write a headline that matches that. And in general, that's going to increase your click-through and your conversion rate. Obviously, you know this from writing your product copy, writing the title. But many people don't realize that it applies also for the sponsored brand headlines. That's an easy win for most of you. Tactic number 5, for sponsored brand videos, our research shows that about 3 in 10,000 people turn on the audio when watching a sponsored brand video. Okay, by default, they autoplay, and they autoplay on mute, right? Because if you're browsing, you don't want to suddenly start having the sound annoying your boss or your colleagues. Oh, what's he doing shopping on Amazon? What happens is a lot of people rely on their script, on the voiceover to sell the product, but that's just not going to work if nobody's listening to it. Okay, and this is a pattern that we've seen across multiple accounts. The data basically is the same thing over and over. Nobody's listening to the audio. So you got to show it to them, spell it out in large characters, right? Don't make it a small font that people will struggle to read if they're not wearing their glasses. Many times people aren't wearing their glasses. And you still want them to be able to read your text. So spell it out in a large font. Focus on your keywords like you would also with a sponsored brand headline, and sell them the benefits. Okay, when you do that, it's gonna help them understand, hey, this is relevant to me, I should keep watching. Tactic number 5. Tactic number 6, for sponsored product keywords, make single keyword campaigns for your best keywords. And this is so key. So many people are getting their sponsored product campaign structure really wrong. Your top keywords need to be in their own campaigns, and here's why. If you group them together with other keywords, the sponsored product campaigns now opt you into top of search, product placements, and rest of search. It's not just search targeted, right? Even if you're targeting keywords explicitly, Amazon also shows you on product pages. And here's the thing, you can adjust your bids for top of search placements and for product page placements. Now, what happens if the top of search is the average of all your keywords, right? So suppose you have, let's say, a 25% ACOS over there. That is the average of the keywords that are doing, let's say, 15% ACOS and the keywords that are doing 45% ACOS, right? But because this is shown to you at the campaign level, you can tell which keyword is doing great on top of search and which keyword is doing poorly on top of search. So if you have a target, let's say, of 25% ACOS, right? So, okay, you might think, hey, great, I'm doing 25%. That's exactly what I'm going for. But you could actually improve your ACOS and improve your sales by decreasing the top of search adjustment for the worst performing keywords, the ones that are at 40, 50% ACOS on top of search. And you could increase the bid for the best keywords that are at 15%. If you don't do that, here's what happens. You end up overpaying for the worst performing keywords, and you end up underpaying for the best performing keywords, right? Because you're bidding on the average. So you're not offering enough money for the best, and you're offering too much money for the worst. So the best end up going to your competitors because they are targeting them accurately, granularly, right? And they can afford to pay as much as possible because they're targeting just that in its own campaign. And at the same time, you're left with all the garbage because your competitors are, eliminating that using negatives, they're bidding lower, and so on. So break out your top keywords that have a lot of volume, a lot of impressions, lots of clicks, lots of sales into their own campaigns to manage them separately so you can pay the real value, the precise value for each placement, whether it's top of search, whether it's product placements, rest of search. For sponsored brand video, test different opening scenes. This is tactic number 7. Okay, a lot of people think, hey, I've got a video, now I can advertise on sponsored brand video and call it a day. That's just the start. You have your first sponsored brand video, great, but it's your first. If you're going to do sponsored brand video, you need to think about this as an iterative process, right? I made a first video, that's great, let's see how it performs. But there's probably going to be some keywords you didn't perform as great as you'd like. And there's some where you're probably performing good, but you could do great. You could do excellent, right? How do you double down on that? A big part of doubling down on success and cutting out the garbage is improving your creative. So the thing is with creative, the stats that we've seen in our research show that maybe 15% of people are watching all the way through, maybe about 30% are watching halfway through, right? Everybody sees the first few seconds, but not everybody continues. What's the difference? If your first few seconds grab them, that will say, hey, this is relevant. This could answer my need. This product could be what I'm looking for. They'll continue watching through to the end of your video. But if your first few seconds don't grab them, they're not going to watch the rest of that video. So you need to test different opening scenes specifically. That's the most critical part of your video. And again, you want to have text overlays like we mentioned earlier. But it's also what's in the video content itself. So I'll give you 2 things you can try out. First thing is try a problem scene, right? One of the things that we've seen work is to show where people are just struggling and something is bothering them. What's the pain point, right? If you can show that, then you can move from there to getting people's attention to your solution to that, right? A second thing you can test out for your opening scene is going right to the solution, showing the person, I had a friend whose dad was a bankruptcy attorney, and that's a really stressful process. One of his competitors had, I think, a great solution image on the homepage, and what it was is basically a guy sitting back, leaning with his feet up on the table, right? And he's showing he's relaxed. And that's the big service. The bankruptcy trustee is not just selling a legal service to deal with different bureaucracy and help you with the creditors. He's helping take a load off your shoulders. And that picture of the guy kicking back shows the benefit, right? So how can you show that your product provides the solution they're looking for? What's the outcome they're trying to get? Try showing that in the first few seconds of your video. Okay, tactic number 8 to improve your ACOS is to double down on good keywords by expanding them, adding more advertisements on good keywords. And there's a few ways you can do that. First of all, if you've got a keyword that's working well in one ad type, copy it over to other ad types where you're not running it yet. So for example, if it's working in sponsored products, move it to sponsored brands or vice versa. Sometimes you've got it, let's say in a sponsored brand video and it's not sponsored brand, it's sponsored products, copy it from the video over to your sponsored product campaigns. Another example, there are multiple sponsored product impressions available on one single search term search results page, right? So if you have multiple products that work for a given keyword, you don't need to advertise just the one. Try advertising multiple products, right? Provided they're not just variations of the same things, then you'll still just have one ad show up. But if you've got a line, right? Let's say, I don't know, mixers, right? Food blenders, food processors, right? So you can advertise the different horsepowers, right, if they're not variations, on the keyword, let's say food blender, food processor, and so on. Another way to do this is to expand on match types. If something's working for you in exact, why not also get the phrase match or the broad match? That's not just for research. You can get a lot of quality long tail traffic that you know is relevant based on how the exact match is performing. Okay, and you can combine those. You can combine both expanding match types as well as combining with that expanding ad types, right? So doing phrase and broad match also in sponsored brand headlines, sponsored brand video. A similar idea, if ASINs are working in the one, you can try testing them in the other. You can try testing the categories in the different ad types there, from sponsored products to video to headlines and so on. Tactic number 9 is when you've got good conversion on a keyword and the ACOS still isn't good, what's the problem? It's your bid, right? If you're converting well on a keyword, the problem isn't the relevance, so it's not your targeting, okay? With sponsored products, it can't be the creative because you cannot possibly change the creative. It's always the same ad with sponsored products. And so the answer has to be that you're just bidding too high. So in that case, you need to bring down the bid. Even if it's a good keyword, you can't just spend as much as you want, right? And so again, you can do this with your bulk operations. You go download that bulk operations, sorted by orders, high to low, okay? And then look at the ACOS column, right? Filter for ACOS above your target ACOS and say, hey, you know what? These are the keywords I should probably be lowering the bid, and you'll find that bid in the max bid column, right? Just change that over and you can fix that. With sponsored brands, it's a little bit more complicated because there's a creative aspect to it, right? So if the ACOS is too high and it's converting well, then there might be a couple of things. First of all, it could be that you're getting charged too much per click because your click-through rate is low. The lower your click-through rate, the higher your cost per click is, okay? Amazon is trying to maximize revenue per impression. In order to do that, it needs to get the highest click-through rates possible. So if your click-through rate isn't really good, you're gonna pay more cost per click, and that's gonna drive up your ACOS. So you can test a different creative to bring that down. But if that's also not the case, if you've got a high click-through rate and you've got a high conversion rate, so even in sponsored brands, you could have an issue that is just the bid, and in that case, you can again look to bring the bid down. Now the question is, how much do you bring the bid down? Do you bring it down 10%, 30, 50, 80%? How much do you cut the bid? Hit the like button and comment on this video and say, hey Gab, I want your spreadsheet that calculates exactly how much I need to bid. Even if I suck at math, I just want the copy paste formulas to make it really easy, and you can get that. See you in the comments below. Okay, and we've done this. It's really easy once you understand the logic of how the numbers work together. And again, you don't even have to know Excel formulas. It's written for you in the spreadsheet. You just need to copy paste for your own data. Okay, tactic number 10, here we go. Fix your sponsored broad match keywords. That's number 10. Sponsored brand broad match does not work the same as sponsored product broad match. Okay, sponsored product, sponsored brand broad match, not the same. Sponsored products, if you include 3 keywords in your broad match, all 3 of those have to appear in your search term. Sponsored brands broad match, it depends. If you just write them the same way as you did in your sponsored product, that is telling Amazon, hey, you can use your related keywords algorithm to match these to any keywords you think are related. So for example, if you put in sandal, they can also match you to shoes. They can match you to running shoes. They can match you to trainers. They can match you to ski boots, right? Whatever the algorithm thinks is related. And believe me, I've seen where they just match you to all kind of stuff that is just super, super broad. This is a very broad algorithm, okay? And lots of people are wasting their money over there because they don't understand that is how it works in sponsored brands. They think it's the same as sponsored products. It's not the same. You can get it to work the same if you add plus signs, okay, before each word that you want to include in the search term. So if we're targeting living room chairs in the example I gave, going back a few tactics, then you do plus living, plus room, plus chairs, right? The plus sign is immediately adjacent. There's no space in between. And when you do it that way, it tells the sponsored brands algorithm, hey, I need living, I need room, and I need chairs to be in the search term. Otherwise, I don't want it, okay? I've got another video, you can check that out, explaining really in detail, showing you examples how sponsored products and sponsored brand are different in how they perform with a broad match. I also got another video explaining the difference between all the different match types that exist. So that can help you if you're new to Amazon PPC and you want to get your head wrapped around that. So those are the 10 tactics that we use that helped us to reduce the ACOS from 51.77% to 30.66% over just 3 months, from January to April of 2021. Okay, and it stayed low over the following year. It was a really nice success story. You can watch the testimonial from our client Vic. It's over here, I think, on the channel. And if you're looking for help with managing your PPC, right, we serve 3 primary kinds of clients. First of all, if you're in the home goods and home improvement categories, right, home and garden, all that stuff. So we do full PPC management just focused on your niche, okay? Second of all, we have a specialty with sponsored brands. It's something, thank God, we're really strong in, okay? We know the data, as you've seen in this video. We've been in depth with all the different reports, and we can help you to improve your performance, and that's across different categories, not just for home goods and gardening, home improvement. And for large organizations that want to build their capacities in-house, we offer custom training, right? Seminars, workshops, all that kind of thing. So get in touch. My email is dg@011adsforbrands.com. We can help you out with that stuff. And again, like I said at the start of this video, I've got 2 resources to share with you guys. I got my spreadsheet that makes calculating bids super easy, even for people who hate math. There's no math, it's just copy pasting, okay? Copy pasting shouldn't be too hard for anybody. And the other resource is our segment finder. It's a free tool, okay? If you want access, you know what to do. Hit like, comment that you want access to those free resources today. And if you want more tips like this, you want more case studies, hit the subscribe button and you'll get more of this great content recommended in your YouTube feed, related videos, all that. If you're looking for help to bring your ACOS down, I got a special offer. We're doing a giveaway called 3K in 30 days. So if you want to bring your ACOS down and you're spending at least $30,000 a month, typically about 10 to 20% of your ad spend is being wasted. And so if you're spending 30K per month, that'd be about 3K, hence 3K in 30 days. And the grand prize winner will have us implement our strategies to reduce your ACOS, right, over the next 30 days from the time of winning. And you just need to click the link below to enter the contest and see how you can be the winner. Second prize gets a significant discount, at least a few $100s, possibly $1,000 off the service. And enter to win. You have nothing to lose, and you can bring your ACOS down already in the next 30 days. Or you could continue paying that wasted money this month, and next month, and the next month, or the next 12 months. Why not? So if you are spending 30K plus in home furnishings, home decor, that kind of product line, so enter the giveaway today, and you can get your ACOS down without any work and without any money. Look forward to seeing you on the other side.